And welcome back to Desk, everybody. Ravish, followed up by Beatdown Boulevard and Dia yet again in that order specifically for non cute how cute they are. There you go. That's how it works out. Ah.
I like it. I like it. I like where this is going. Don't think about it too hard, Beatdown. Don't do it.
You're
Don't do
fine.
it.
It's okay.
But
It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Think
yeah,
about
yeah,
the
yeah.
game instead.
All right, all right, all right, okay.
So let's go ahead and start right off at the beginning. Where we want to talk about that level one here, beat right. You saw right
Yeah,
from the beginning, like with the competition that they had, AOE came out swinging.
they did, and we were talking about how much we loved that play at the start of the game, and like you said, it was right at the beginning, a really nice 5-man play into the top tribe rush there, where Distel was not quite prepared for it, getting cleansed out early as a Quinn versus a Renekton is already a little bit of lane pressure lost, and unfortunately, Quinn is one of the famous champs where if you are not living in Lane Kingdom, you are in Poverty Central. And that was the beginning of the many factors that pretty much put Distel in the dumpster for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that was a difficult thing to watch, especially as somebody who was really excited about the Quinn pick. I remember we talked a little bit before the game about how this needed to be a game where the solo lanes translated into neutral objectives. And
Yeah.
while we did see some neutral objectives go over to Conviction, the solo lanes really suffered. And even if Quinn isn't ahead, she still needs to have some sort of side lane pressure. And it just wasn't something that was ever able to convert at any point into the game. This especially around this dragon fight right here, where Quinn has to go all the way back up top to try and catch the wave, lest AOE don't try and go for this dragon, turns into the first of many team fight wins for AOE.
It is so well played too, because Distel left early off of some lane priority, but spent a little bit of time, or a little too much time rather, away from the lane. That allowed Chim to stack a big wave just in time for the dragon fight that his team wanted to take on the side of AoE randoms. And it's so easy. Quinn took TP because of the movement speed from her ultimate, but you can't get across the map as quickly as a teleport. And as soon as that happened, I think you already know it's kind of doomed for Conviction, as Distel was already back in the top lane, had to farm that wave. There wasn't a whole lot else they could do except let that dragon go over to the wayside. And then that's kind of another problem too, because it seemed like Distel was spending a lot of the game playing catch up, which
Mhm.
you don't really want to see on a Quinn. And there are factors outside of his control, of course. Dragon Jindy, which is a point we're going to get into as well, goes for this top scuttle play at around the 3-minute mark. And realistically, you have no lane priority from your solo laners at the moment. Both pushed under tower, both not able to roam and fight you for the scuttle crab. And what happens? Chim gets first blood.
Yeah, it's something that from that point takes the Renekton, who is suffering at the hands of the Quinn, and
Uh,
puts him even, and maybe even a little bit ahead, I dare say.
yeah.
And from that point, we see even that topside invade that ends up getting stuffed translates into Dragon to Jindy, then having to go bot lane, so that it works out that around the 10-minute mark, we're seeing a second dive on Quinn. She's already been dove once, she's already been killed once, and we're seeing it again. Now a kill given over to Conviction, and you're using this Quinn as a source of charity for your own lanes, rather than something that you need to constantly address. But despite that, we did have some team fights that Conviction were winning.
And the reason for that was because Short Hop was constantly, in my honest opinion, mispositioning in a lot of these fights, not really respecting the fact that he can get jumped on top of, especially by Kachan. This Kaisa really good moves with the Killer Instinct to focus and burst him down out of certain engagements. And I even said it while we were watching. If you go, there's a fight where they trade Short Hop for Ariandel. Absolutely
Mhm.
worth, because you still have your ADC. And those are the fights where Conviction kind of showed me that, okay, they might have a chance in this game here. Slight gold lead. They're starting to snag at least some dragons, starting to really do a good job of isolating and bursting Short Hop. But unfortunately, there came a point where, because you have a Quinn who isn't too far ahead and not able to offer the kind of engage interference that a Renekton can give you, getting on top of Short Hop eventually proved too difficult.
Yeah, you just had to make it a little bit difficult to actually kill the Jinx, as we're gonna see right here in the clip around that Baron fight that honestly looks really bad for AoE. They end up pulling it back because watch Short Hop. He just doesn't. There's no way to get through to him through Chim.
And it's beautiful. Look, and you see what happens as soon as Short Hop as Jinx, 2 items deep. You leave him alone for a couple of seconds. So much damage is going to come out of that champion. And unfortunately, again, because the only real way to get on top was that vault you saw from the Quinn of Distel, there wasn't anybody really threatening Short Hop in the slightest there.
And you saw right there from that clip, right? That's really what the game just turned around there for AOE, where they're able to take it back into their hands, or else otherwise, Conviction had some really good looks going on throughout the entire beginning of the game. We do also have some stats for y'all, but we'll show you that later. Because as of right now, as we're almost about to head into game number 2 between AOE along with Conviction, right? Dia, I'm gonna come to you on this. I need you to give it to me in 5 words or less. Does Conviction come back from this? Go.
If they do that better. I think they had a really good game plan going into game 1, and I think that if they run that back, there's a genuine chance they take a game. But they've got to make sure that their solo lanes are prioritized and not falling behind to just silly mistakes and miscommunication around the jungle.
Everybody hates silly mistakes. I'm not a fan of fun League of Legends personally. I want serious tight. I want it to be 0 kills and pure macro.
Wow.
Of course. So we'll see. So we'll see if my dreams come true or not. I know y'all might be a fan, but we'll throw it over to a caster to see which one of our teams is revitalized today. Take it away, Chilling Walk and Travesty.
Thank you, Ravish and Ades, for yet again breaking everything down so cleanly, so beautifully. My name is Travesty. I am joined here by Chillin' Walk. Chillin'! We're getting into game number 2 here, man. And after game number 1 flipping around like it was, man, I'm excited.
I am too. I want to see what Conviction has next in their playbook. I want to see what they have next in the composition, because one of the good things that they did was make sure they build a pretty cohesive composition from top to bottom. You have a solid dive comp, you're going to be looking to dive in. AOE randoms, they were like, you know what? We're going to flex a little bit, and they definitely did in that game. Of course, early game wasn't working out, but that's what I'm curious about, man. Conviction, of course, got some old names, got a new name in the top lane too, but they're still a developing roster. And the more I want to see that development come through is something that all of us will be happy of, especially going to the next proving rounds, which is what both teams are playing for.
Yeah, both these teams trying to get ready, gear up for everything that's coming up their way, because Summer PG will be here before you know it. And you know what? If Conviction are looking to kind of test the waters, man, I'm going to be honest. I was a fan of the way they were like, yo, we're going to get the rank for Fresh Blood top lane here. We're going to let him do what he wants to do. And he was styling on the Quinn, honestly.
He was definitely doing a good job. And knowing that Conviction is going to be staying on the red side in this game too, they could definitely look to do it again. But then the biggest thing is that Distal Finks, even though he had a good matchup, he did have push, but question marks had to come through when it came to that scuttle, man. If I'm Distal Finks, if I'm Ariandel, we got to communicate, we cannot fight that dang scuttle, man. We can't be doing that. So that's one thing that Conviction needs to square up. What Raphael said, man, make sure that communication is on lock, because that kind of rotation cannot be happening when you got that lane priority.
I'm with you on this, man, and we're going into it, and we're seeing more of the same already in the bans here. I don't think we're going to see anything change from the randoms here. Might see a couple adaptations from Conviction. We'll be curious to see if there will be any and what they may be.
Vladimir, I forgot to mention this, but 11.8 Vladimir did get a buff. There's a second. It was a second cooldown buff on Q, and I've been talking to some of the colleagues, and it actually makes Vladimir pretty dang viable. Of course, still has the weaknesses of not being able to maintain wave, not being able to fight early on, but it does give a lot of leverage when it comes to his ability in the competitive scene. So I understand why that Vladimir is going to be banned too, along with Ariano playing it. But so far, everything's looking like the same, these 3 bans, Travesty. It's looking like they're spilling out MSG right now when it comes to Stormback. It all depends on if Conviction wants to stay true to it.
Yeah, it does look exactly like it. See if that will be it, and I'm just curious, we're going through these bans, right? It's a hacker and ban surprise. It's still the same stuff so far. I'm going to be curious, man. Randoms, did they first pick Jeets again here? They're on blue side again, and Short didn't have a terrible game on the Jeets. He did actually pretty all right.
Yeah, remember what I said, Travesty, in game 1. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if I'm AOE randoms, I don't got to fix anything. Nocturne being banned away, as we saw in game 1, which is exactly the same thing. Conviction, of course, has a chance of banning away this Jinx away from Short Hop if they want to do so. And that's with a question that I have in mind if they want to do it. And looks like they will. They're going to be banning that to get away from AOE Random's first pick.
Yeah, Thresh is up now, so that's the only champion that was that's going to be up that wasn't available in.
Oh,
okay, it's Thresh. Never mind. We got trolled.
Alright. Alright, never mind. We got trolled. So, it is going to be Thresh. Everything's the same thing, guys. Never mind. No change right now. Question is, Random going to be locking into that Jinx? Or do they want to throw a curveball against Conviction? They got the time to do so. It's game 1. You know, they can look to change everything else up. Thresh is banned, so, you know, they're doing a little fix-up, so everything's going to be good.
Yeah, everything's going to be good. We'll see if it's going to be the Jinx. You know, no surprise there. You said it best, I think. It ain't broke, don't fix it. And now Conviction, they did have some things that were broke, so I'm kind of curious on what their first rotation is going to be. If it will still be the Volibear Rail, or if they got someone else on their plate.
Now, knowing that Quinn is on the table with Distal Finks, AOE Randoms are probably going to be a lot more mindful of when they want to lock in that Renekton. Remember, like I said, man, Randoms, the Renekton, personally, I didn't think was good for themselves when it came to the top side. Udyr, of course, right now being hovered, probably going to be a thing that's going to get locked in for themselves, which I think is a good pick. But remember, man, if Jazzy wants to throw in a mad curveball, you got the Morgana, you got the Darius, those two champions, smack the heck out of Udyr, along with Rumble too. These three champions that have been climbing up in the jungle right now in 11-8 have been given a lot of love. And Jazzy has that option that could work really well. If Rumble's picked here, yo, Darius, if any of these three champions are picked here, those two champions stop what Conviction is locked in right now.
I like how this has become kind of like our petition to be like, yo, Darius and Morgana and Rumble, please put them in the jungle, put them in your pools.
They work so well right now.
They really do.
Like Rumble throws ultimate, Morgana stops both of them. That's what I'm saying. I like that. That's what I'm talking about, Jazzy, locking the Morgana. I love it. Please don't send this to the support lane, I swear.
It is very flexible, to be fair. If they lock in Darius, dude, they're just playing with us.
Do it, I don't care. Lock in both. Double flex that crap.
But I do like it, though. Randoms have a very nice little bit of a composition. Gragas gets locked in here.
Yeah, and more than likely this Gragas is going to be going into support role because it is a counter pick to Rel. So, more than likely, if I'm Conviction, I got to assume that this Morgana is going to be going into that jungle pool. So, right now, you got to figure out, yo, what can I counter pick against this kind of composition? Because Rams, they got a solid disengaged composition, man. You cannot walk into any of them, and if you do, you get soul shackled, you get binded, you get explosive casting, you get body slammed. Like you get your heads tossed if you actually walk in. Conviction, of course, understanding that they're going to be pivoting away, making sure Ando's playing a solid blind pick mid lane that we've been seeing since 11-6, which is going to be that Orianna.
I love this, man. Honestly, the Silas game didn't get to have too much fun on that champion. So Orianna, you know, we've seen it. It's tried and true. It's a stable mid laner. And now the question is, you know, Randoms, we're going through the second ban phase here. Conviction has going to probably look to target out competition's pool of champions. I'm curious on what Randoms is going to lock in. It's not going to have Ahri this time.
You still got a Syndra that's playable for Randoms. Competition could look to play that for himself into Ariandel. You could play Zoe right now. Zoe looks good, and he also is one of the best Zoes right now on the ladder. A lot of things that he could actually play in the mid lane, knowing that Orianna is locked in. You have many counter picks that you can easily engineer for yourself. Yo, Lucian works out too, knowing that you got an AP jungler and you got mid lane counter pick. A lot of options. Personally, if I was me, you lock in that Lucian, you make sure Ariandel doesn't have a fun time, and then you got to support in the mid, support in the jungle, and support in the support role to make sure that your double 80 carries are going to be running wild.
I mean, honestly, you got all the magic damage in the world that you could use with it too, right? You got Gragas, you got Morgana, boom! Magic damage, check mark. It's done. It's good to go. Echo taken off the table here. We have seen that be a counter pick into the Orianna in some play. So, just saying, you know, competition, no Echo for you.
I respect that. You know, it allows AOE Rams to play a 1-3-1 if they want to, or 1-4. And Echo just has survive levels 1 to 5 in that matchup. And once you do, you basically just spam the timeline, or you get a full clear. AOE Randoms are going to be banning away 280 carries that are meant to dive in, which I think is really good. The only champion left to dive in, by the way, Travsy, is Samira. And I don't know if Kacha actually plays this champion. Remember, only person I've seen play it is Shiro from the EGP team. that has locked in Samir for themselves, especially last week when they were playing it in the loser semifinals that I was commentating. So we'll see if they want to pick that in.
Hashtag shameless plug there, you know. We got to get it in. Hey, but Ash, if this is locked in, this is a champion I'm actually very fond of currently. I think it's underrated. I think it's underrated, man.
It definitely is underrated in competitive play. The issue is that you're dealing with a Morgana and the Black Shield.
That's fair.
So it's gonna be real hard to land a ultimate if Morgana is around the area. So one thing that I am afraid of for Conviction, and again this is where they've pivoted their composition to more of a frontline, backline, very mid-range oriented comp that AOE Randoms is allowed to do. This is where I actually like the Renekton pick, because now Renekton, he only has 2 people to bodyguard. You know, if he's playing an isolated one-on-one, he's either stunning the Udyr or stunning the Rel, because there's no big, deep backline threats that Conviction has opted for. And this is where, if I'm AOE, I start establishing that front line for the rest of the squad. And Renekton fills out shoes because he could just isolate one of them and be a solid split push threat. For Conviction, though, we saw that Quinn. If Finks wants to go back for it, he definitely can. But AOE Randoms, they have a solid composition from top to bottom. I
just don't like Victor, man. I don't know if you saw my
Victor's
face.
Good, man.
Victor's good. Love he's a good champion and all that other stuff. That's fine, but but yeah, Victor is going to get locked in here, and have to see exactly what that was about. Conviction, last pick. What do they want to lock in here? Yet again, it's for Distal Finks.
I actually want to confirm from Hyper. Hyper, did you mention that this Victor is going to be Syndra or no? Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right. Well, now, again, with Victor being in the mid lane, Finks put himself back onto the Quinn, which again can win on split push, but now these junglers change up the entire matchup when it comes to this. Black Shield comes online for Chim. It actually means that he doesn't have to worry about the Volt at all, and just Finks is unable to actually get away from the Renekton in these 2-on-2s. It also means that, you know, Bear Slaps isn't going to work as well on one target. AOE Randoms have a really solid 2-on-2 if they want to opt in for it on the top lane, and I actually really like it with Chim having that support from Morgana in the jungle that we don't really see. But Black Shield does a lot in the early 2-on-2s and early 2-on-2s from all sides of the map. In Conviction, I'm definitely worried on the way you guys approach this draft now.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I got excited with the Ash pick, but I'm with you on this, Will. I'm 100% in on it. Morgana's clear speed is already nutty as well. I think Morgana is actually disgustingly good into tanks, junglers in general, and that's the niche that Udyr falls into. And Udyr's biggest weakness is not being able to get on top of people. Morgana, great at stopping people from doing that. So I'm with you on this, man. I feel like Randoms, you know, last game you and me were both kind of like our Convictions composition, very cool. They did good guys at the last minute, but now Randoms are... They got a composition that's kind of won me over here. Besides the Victor I made the bleh face at, you know.
It's good, man. If you're an Udyr and you're a Rel, Travesty, do you want to dive into a gravity field?
No.
Exactly. Do you want to dive into gravity field plus shoulder shackles plus explosive cast plus body slam?
Listen, hold on.
I win.
You do win this. Mine is more so just like, Victor, what is he going to do in lane? Oh, he's going to death laser the minions. All right, cool. Congratulations.
What's Morgana going to do in lane? She's going to toss a ball back and forth.
The shockwave plays. Those are cool.
This shockwave's not going to matter when a cast storm's going to drop in front of her face, man. This mid lane is straight neutral. The only thing I can change is jungle interacting with it. So that's the only way this matchup can go sour for the Victor. But regardless, Victor gets a scale. He gets to get the late game in a very free way for that team. And then if you look at the rest of the squad, man, I feel very bad for Dragon Jindy, and I feel very bad for Colin, man, because you have no way of getting there from a front to back position, and now you have to flank. But then if you are going to flank, who's going to protect Orianna Quinn? Freaking, who's the AD carry again? Ash.
Yeah.
No one's able to protect that either. The mid-range of what they have is that Victor just wins. And when it comes to the poking game, because Lays just straight up outranges a lot.
You know, we can say a word. There's going to be like a parting word that they're going to have to say for the AD carries, because one of those bindings from Morgana is going to get followed up by a gravity field, and they just come back. Well, I'm dead, guys.
Exactly.
I'm CC'd for 10 seconds. Goodbye.
That's all they need. Like that dark binding can set up the entire engagement and set up the entire follow up. And along with that, if the other team jumps on you, you're like, cool, I'm just gonna soul shackle everyone down, spin around, and make sure you get stunned up.
Go golden. It's
But
great.
let's be honest though, if I'm looking at convictions and I'm looking at the way they want to play, they have to get in game 1. When we look at Distal Jinx, he was doing okay, but he didn't pop off in the early game. This game, he needs to be a big pop off champion. He needs to be the dude that can split push all day, every day, and make sure he gets out alive. Because if he doesn't, Conviction is very hard to win a straight up 5-on-5. Maybe you get a cheeky little catch when Black Shield is down or Morgana isn't around with catch on that crystal arrow. But if you get blocked with that crystal arrow, it's not going to be looking too good. So level 1 invade's going to be coming through. Jazzy is not going to start binding though. I do want to mention that because if he does, his clear is going to be utterly gutted when it comes to his speed. So that's one thing that randoms can't be doing. They do have an okay level 1 if Jazzy actually wants to go for it, but more than likely, just go for the Tormented Soul so you can actually get a full clear.
I'm with you. And game 2, starting off with a little bit of spice. You love to see it. AOE randoms, making sure to keep us on our toes. And, you know, you're seeing even here, Conviction Dragon's over here. He's inching forward. He's just like, all right, guys, you guys got to make sure you come with me. We don't want to have callbacks to the last game. Let's get some vision. Let's make sure they're not still here. So I do like this. This is some very interesting movement here, Will.
Okay, they're going for a late invade on the red side. As Morgana, you can actually full clear your bottom side or top side. You're not really forced to start blue, as you can just fully clear all 3. But instead, Conviction forcing a vertical jungling move, knowing that Jazzy is going to start on the blue side. I kind of like this on the Conviction team, knowing that you're going to be putting pressure on the bottom lane. Issue though is that Jazzy is able to pressure Distal Finks, and remember that Distal Finks is a champion that needs to get off the ground rolling real fast. That's one thing I am worried about.
And he took the cleanse again today, so he's making sure he said, you know what, this CC, I'm not trying to get caught up, not trying to get rooted up. He knows it's coming his way. The target was set on his back last game. So, yeah, I think it's just as simple as that. But, man, look at this one, the Morgana here. Finishing up the Wolves does not have an idea that this vertical jungling has begun here.
Yep, so Jazzy now going to realize that his Raptors and red buff gone away, got robbed by Dragon Jindy, so good stuff now. Yeah, pings are coming through. They're like, all right, cool. We recognize that Jazzy's on the bottom side. Also means that Dragon Jindy doesn't have to go for his blue right now if he actually want to make sure he gets 3 quadrants done. But instead, Dragon Jindy staying on his bottom side camps. I don't really like this though, Travesty. I think that Dragon Jindy actually had a chance of going to his top side to look for some plays, to look to neuter those camps.
Well, the bind went a little bit wide there, but Ariandel will be fine in that. Yeah,
he'll be good. But remember that Jazzy, knowing that he's only managed to take 3 camps on the entire side, it feels really bad. He's only level 3. Dragon Jindy about hit level 4. Once he takes the scuttle, Jazzy isn't. And Jazzy, I feel like he's just afraid of going to the top side, knowing that Distal Finks can always show up on the top lane. Definitely is a pretty tough issue for the randoms team in this early game.
I also would love to point out the fact they just saw Josie over there. They hawk-shotted the red buff. They know that Morgana wasn't there, so they know he was doing top scuttle. So
yeah,
that was a beautiful use of hot shot. That's one of my favorite things, and why I think Ash should be played a little bit more. That hot shot's just a broken ability.
Yeah, definitely helps out for the jungle. It's always a good thing whenever you have an Ash on your team. You're like, yo, man, hawk shot red buff. I need to see if he's over there. All right, cool. He ain't. All right, we're good. But yo, Jazzy finally on his bottom side with his bot camps respawning, and Dragon Jindy on the top side taking 3. He's up 3 camps right now, ladies and gentlemen. And he also, by the way, I also didn't realize this. Dragon Jindy opted for Lethal Temple instead of Phase Rush. Actually, insane. I wonder why he did this. Real curious. Even though you get Lethal Temple, and even though you can fight one-on-one, the issue remains is that now you can't access backline when you hit later team fights. So it's one thing I am wondering about. Competition take a lot of heat in the mid lane. He is sitting real low. He's gonna need some help real soon.
I'm glad you said that. I didn't even notice that. I've grown so numb to the Udyrs taking the same keystone every single time, man.
Yeah.
Count on Dragon to spice things up, and he's looking for something spicy here. Flash, bear slap, first blood going over.
And it's all resulting in that early clear, man. Jazzy didn't know where Dragon Jindy was going to be, and because Dragon Jindy changed up his entire game plan from level 1, by the way. The late invade red buff into bot camp, into top quadrants, and then going into Jazzy's top camps to take Gromp and then looping around to dodge Jazzy. It was just so good. This is the adaptation that I want to see from Conviction in this early game, and it's working out really well, especially in this jungle matchup that Dragon Jindy basically forced to avoid.
Yeah, Aaron looking to just duel it out with him there. That was very interesting there. Yeah, that was very, very interesting. No summoners now at all for competition in the mid lane.
Yeah. Turning 6 in the middle wave, getting enough mana to get Shockwave off too is definitely something that's going to hurt competition, especially when dealing against Dragon Jindy. But this story right now, Travis, has all been about the jungle and the way Dragon Jindy has been playing this game, man. It's been beautiful from minute 1, still beautiful from this point onwards. Hopefully, Rams can look to punish it. Looks like they're doing so with taking this dragon. Hawkshot's going to come through, but they are going to give it knowing that Dragon Jindy is going to be on the top side.
Yeah. It's as simple as that. You know, they didn't get hung up on the scuttle, so Dragon goes over to AOE randoms this time around, and Conviction say, all right, take the first Drake. It is 6 minutes into the game, and the Udi are just going to go ahead and do the top side. Nothing too spicy there. It's just the same old standard League of Legends here.
Yeah, but right now at this point, if I'm Dragon Jindy, continually just full clear your side, and you'll just continually be up camps at this point. And if I'm Jazzy, I need to find some way of getting some gold back in my pockets. You already see him pinging to just go for some invades onto Jazzy's Gromp here, and especially targeting this blue buff. Conviction in their early game has been looking really good from game 1 as well, because they did this exact same thing against Jazzy, just targeting that blue buff, making sure it doesn't get on competition or Jazzy's hands. And this is the early game that Conviction has been working for, and it's definitely beautiful to see.
This is what I feel like we were expecting to see in game number 1 when we saw the Quinn, right? We're seeing a lot more coordination come out between these laners and the jungler. I am loving this from the side of Conviction.
Yeah, blue buff being gone too, man. It's gonna feel real bad knowing that Jazzy is like, oh man, I got blue buff for my first clear. I only get a red buff now. Dragon Jindy is around the corner, but he's real fast. So Shackle's coming through.
Yeah, they're just going to shackle him down.
Yep, they are. That's it.
The gravity field is there. Dragon doesn't have the flash. Chim slices. He's looking to die. He's not going to be able to finish it off, though. Josie secures the kill and gets that.
All right, Dragon Jindy, we've been crediting you for many times. Oh, Jazzy going to get jumped on, too.
All in, looking for the engage. The spell shield was able to start the initial part, but the damage comes on through. We got Gragas over here into the side, looking to lay out a little bit of damage. It's not 6, no explosive cast to be seen, but the dominance is going to be called by Chim. Going to be able to hit a crystal arrow, only lands onto the Gragas there, but Chim will be able to secure that kill and grab call in.
Yo, shout out to Pocus right there. I don't know if y'all saw it, but he body slammed Colin back into the gravity field to make sure he gets stunned up. By the way, if he didn't, Colin actually potentially could have made it out and get his cooldowns back in. So good stuff on him. But regardless, that again was a battle of the jungle. Dragon Jindy getting caught a little bit off guard. Arendelle going to get explosive cast in.
Smack him around. The Chaos Storm is there. Competition finds the kill. Beautiful work coming out from Pockets here. And over in the top lane, Pistol taking a heaping amount of damage.
Arendelle had flash. Travesty.
Yeah.
Even though in game 1 he wasn't looking too hot, in that one he actually could have avoided the entire death altogether. Surprised that he didn't flash away, but regardless, you know, Random's getting an optimal punish because of the mix-up. You know, I don't think Arendelle was mindful of Focus looking for that play, but definitely works out, and now it's actually swinging back to Randoms.
Ooh. Beautiful body slam coming out from Pockets. Just null and void what Colin wants to do. The rockets firing away. Short hop just free shooting. Colin barely able to survive. I'm not going to be able to finish that off with an explosive cast. It's still on cooldown. But the aggression coming out from this bot lane duo.
Yeah. Shout outs to the minion. You know, stopping Focus from body slamming on a Colin. But with Kacha, his arrow's about to come up real soon. Regardless, though, Randoms. So far, it looks like from game 1 going to game 2 has been a team that is really good at punishing enemy mistakes. It's been their game plan since game 1, and it's been what's gotten them back into this game in game 2, Travesty. So I'm appreciating that Randoms has been playing this kind of game plan. However, this game plan cannot continue if you're looking to improve in the going through proving grounds. This team needs to figure out ways to make sure that they're covering level 1s, making sure they're able to adapt on the fly outside of punishing enemy mistakes. So hopefully they can make sure that they can put themselves on a good foot in the future games.
And you see it, man. It is a genuine concern, but now Conviction. Seeing them now, they are the opponents laid in front of AOE randoms, and they're putting them up for a fight.
Wow.
Arindo gets caught out. Sombrero is
Same
going to come
thing again,
through.
bro.
Is still yet again another kill. Explosive Cast going to connect onto Dragon, but just pushes him into the wall. Nothing to come up.
Yeah, same thing again, man. Arindo had that flash. He could have flashed away. You know, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but Arindo is not playing his right game. He did a really good job in the early laning phase, but this one's been a gigantic change to bottom lane fight.
Yeah, the cleanse was used. They got a TP coming in. They're looking for the damage. They're jumping onto Short Hop. They're going to be able to find the kill onto him. We got another TP coming in from both sides over here into the bot side. Colin going to barely be able to survive. They're going to be able to connect the bind. It hits onto Udyr. Distal Finks looking for the flank onto the side, but the Black Shield will be able to stop it. But it will still be the kill secured by Distal Finks. And now it's Conviction turning the tide and going over to the Dragon for themselves.
Yeah, it was all for this Earth Drake, as you said, Travesty. You know, Conviction finally making a good move on the bottom side off of Kacha and that arrow. Of course, Super Mega Devil, we've seen it many times before. We've seen that ultimate steal many a neutral objective. Not going to see it in this second game in 11 minutes in from Short Hop. Regardless, though, Conviction, they want to make sure they can still punish more opponents.
Thanks, just flashing in to go over the gravity field there. They don't
Distal.
finish off the kill. The competition. Distal was looking so fine, and then it turned out to be so bad.
Yeah, they thought they can get the punishment, but Competition, perfectly fine, manages to waddle away for himself. Arendelle gonna get punished again, man.
Yeah, it's the zap comes through. Short Hop picks up the kill. He dies in the same fashion that he has in all 3 of his deaths so far.
Yeah, man. Poke has just got the read on him. Conviction. I don't know if you want to get bloody, man. Dragon Diddy, walk yourself away. Good stuff. Oh, no, they want to continue. They want to go back in.
He's still walking in on this, man. The shackles are coming through. Dragon trying to just get these shackles off of him. But Colin's taking a heaping amount. The Ash flashing forward to secure a kill. But it is not looking like it's in their favor. Conviction. The Ash able to get in there looking completely untouched. Beautiful play coming out from the Ash.
Trasty, I don't know what's going on, but why are we getting so bloody at this point? It's 12 minutes in. We have 13 kills. In game 1, we didn't have this kind of game. You know, game 1, they were being very patient. Let's take a look at this replay real quick, man. But, you know, this is all off of where Conviction wanted to start off the fight because randoms stepped a little bit too far. But pay attention to Jocelyn, this Soul Shackle. This stole us a lot of time when it came through. Sure, of course, eating the arrow actually costing him his life as well. But we're just fighting left and right, man. And this is where we're blowing summoners, we're blowing abilities just to get kills. Of course, it will feel good for yourself. Yeah. Before I get to that, though, Competition going to face check Colin. Make sure he gets back to the bottom wave for himself. But still, if I'm Conviction, I need to slow the game down. Make sure that I'm investing in Distal Finks. Remember that at the end of the day, you cannot be diving this kind of team on the random squad. You have to make sure that Distal Finks is a split push threat. And if he ain't, then it's going to be real hard to fight, no matter what.
Yeah, he's 2-1-1 right now, and you know that's fantastic for them. You also have Dragon, who's finding himself on a different start than the last time. You know, 2-1-2 on the Udyr here today is looking a lot better than that Volibear. Had a lot better of an early game presence as well. So Dragon looking to turn things around, and a lot of things that Conviction didn't have in the last game definitely pulling in their favor a little bit more, but like you said, Will, they have win conditions, and they have to figure out how exactly they want to play to it.
You even see Distal Finks opting for the Kraken Slayer, so it becomes a bigger split push threat. Or if not that, just making sure he's able to fight in the front lines. But we'll have to see if they can actually do it, because they're still on the back foot. They're still down a good amount of gold across the board. You know, look at the competition. He's 2-1-3. Chim, he's up a couple CS compared to Distal Finks. And with them having the turret lead, they're able to just kind of go in and take some of these camps away as well. And that's why I'm wondering, Conviction, even though you're trying to answer back, your composition needs to find something. Dragon Ninja trying to run against competition, but it's going to move back. They're just going to be trading turrets on both sides.
I just love the idea that he just blindly lasers that bush, and then all of a sudden this
He knew, man.
comes running at him. He's just like, whoa, hold up.
Yeah, at this point you got to have that game sense. This is a Finks, you got to get the heck out of here, bro.
Yeah, Finks is getting a lot of damage put onto him.
it.
He's taken care of. He's CC locked and thrown on in. He is taken back to the fountain.
Yeah, real unfortunate, man. I think Distal Finks picking the Quinn is really bold, really good too, not gonna lie. But you need to put attention on this Quinn, man. You got to make sure the little birdie becomes a falcon in the later stages, Travesty. And right now, for Conviction, they haven't done so. Distal Finks hasn't become that split push threat to be able to one-on-one Chim, and the longer this game goes, the worse it's gonna be.
I know you talked earlier about the fact that we do have a Kraken Slayer this time around.
Yeah,
I am curious for Finks in regards to that, though, because last game he went the Gale Force instead. And, you know, yeah, there is a bit of a different competition, but you do have the same matchup in the Renekton. I was kind of curious, you know, you're talking about it. Is this him focusing purely on the split push press threat? Or is this him trying to say, I'm going to be a little bit more of a team fighter for his team? Because I'm curious if that's going to affect how we see this Quinn move around.
Oh, before he gets to that, though.
Oh, that was huge there. Ariandel finds a kill there. It's a 1-for-1 at the end of the day, but it will be sold on off as Colin. He was in too deep. Drake was secured off screen while that all happened. So,
Travis, I don't know if you saw, but that arrow did nothing, man. That Black Shield blocked everything. And along with that competition, placed a gravity field that punished Ariandel and Kacha. Yo, watch this replay. Watch what happens. Actually, I'm not sure if this is a replay. Yeah, it should be. A little bit late though. There it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, like the Black Shield stopped everything, and that's what I was talking about. This Ashe ulti isn't going to be very useful when Jazzy's sitting right in front of him. So, no, definitely a mistake coming in, and the more this game goes on, randoms off that play are just generating more of their gold lead.
I'll be honest, I was expecting like a slow-mo of the arrow not doing anything with as much how excited I got over seeing Ashe get picked. But I didn't get that treatment here today. Getting in here, Chim looking for some action here. Get out of my jungler's jungle as he's trying to force his way onto Dragon here. Gravity field has been placed down, and Ashen just completely stuffed there from the side of Conviction.
Yeah, but look at Conviction, man. They're just trying to ARAM for some reason. They really want this middle auto turret. I don't know if this is a game plan, Travis, because right now you're burning mad resources to do so. Competition, of course, gonna be causing Ariandel to whiff, man. Like, this is randoms all day, every day. They're gonna be looking to punish some more.
Call in. He's left as a tribute here. He's gotten sacrificed for that play. But over onto the top side, they're looking to punish Short Hop as well. So it is going to be at the end of the time 1-for-1. I'm not really sure what just happened in front of us there. Rift Herald summoned in the mid lane. This is going to be an inhibitor tower.
It is, man, but shots to competition. The man broke Ariandel's ankles, man. Y'all see that? Y'all saw that, right? He legit broke his ankles.
Competition. Competition's been. He's got the fancy footwork, man. He's got his dancing shoes.
I want to replay that. I want a replay of competition breaking the man's ankles. Oh,
that was
nasty.
We're gonna have to go back to the VOD later and just watch it back in slow mo, man. That's what we're gonna have to do. But oh man, it is random yet again though. I gotta point out the fact that randoms they've been turning up the tempo the later the game goes on. It feels like they just make less mistakes and capitalize on more of the opponent's mistakes.
That's what random's game plan has always been, Travis. It's just been like that. Jazzy, no Black Shield. That's it.
No Black Shield, baby.
Yeah. That's it. He wasn't ready.
Can I get a slow-mo replay of that arrow hitting?
No, that wasn't good enough. He just had to hit one button, man. He just had to hit one button, he would have made it out. In this one, he should have hit that button, he would have made it out, but that's on him.
Yeah. He had it too. That was the worst part of it. But with Super Minions, it's a 20-minute mark to have to deal with in the mid lane.
What? But still, man, why are they still finding? Okay, this means nothing, man. He just hits Black Shield. John, he should just if he has Black Shield, he's perfectly fine. By the way, I don't know why we're watching this match many times in a row.
Wow, we are watching a lot of times in a row.
We're missing correct intel right now, but so far, Conviction have been A-ramming many times, which is a gigantic question mark because they need to be answering sideways. They need to be making sure they're getting gold in their pocket because right now the gold influx is for sure on the randoms team. I want to see more gold on Disto Phoenix. I want to make sure that Katja and Arendelle can actually function when it comes to landing some of these ultimates and zoning some of these opponents out. Because they can look to outrange with Shockwave, they can look to, pressure with some of these tools they have, but if you burn them and you can't fight after, then it's not going to be a good time.
Yeah, and it's also, like, for me, looking over across the board, over onto the side of Convention, too. Like, you were talking about it, we've memed about it, the arrow isn't actually as effective and whatnot. I want to talk about the fact that this Ashe has 2 key items, man. Kraken Slayer plus PD, that's a disgusting combo for this Ashe to have in their bot. So I feel like, if anything, the series has highlighted how good Katja has been in this AD carrier position.
Very true. He's done a good job. Oh, I'm sorry, Colin. That's going to be 9-9 for you.
Just get smacked. Just go down. No. Okay, good. He's taken out.
But Katja has been putting on a good game. And game 1, he was looking really good. Unfortunately, the team just wasn't executing the right way. This game, he's sitting here 2-0-5, highest KD out of the entire team on Conviction so far. So, credits to Katja, man. Shout outs to this AD carry who has been putting on a pretty good show. Colin, of course, former COG player, not looking too hot in this game specifically, but last game he was looking okay too. But Conviction, though, they have a lot of good players. They have a lot of good teams, and unfortunately today, some of these players just haven't been performing the way they want, and some of these players have. Unfortunately, for the random team, they're still looking like a strong unit as Baron's going to start up. Right now, Dragon Jindy has to see if he can get it. It's 5k in.
Shockwave only connected on the Josie.
Look at competition, though. Look at him.
Oh man, the gravity field call in. He's caught out yet again. The Chaos Storm is burning away on his HP. He's going to be able to just barely survive, but they're looking to chase him down. Looking to magnet pull him on back on in. Pockets is going to be able to secure that kill. Poor call in, getting picked out yet again as Chim, looking for a target, is going to be able to get the stun on the dragon, but it's not going to amount to much.
All right, regardless, though, that was a catch off of randoms, and it was a force on that Baron from randoms, too, where they forced Conviction to look up and approach. And remember, they were all split. Now knowing that Katja doesn't have the summons, they don't really have a lot of tools to get in, it's real tough. Dragon Jizzy has to make a steal, but it's dropping 6k in. You know that this is going to be a flash steal, but the question is, can he get it? 3k in. Oh, they want to stop that. They're not letting the steal.
Yeah, they're looking for a shot. Hop is going to be able to find the kill onto Ori. Dragon is making his way around.
Oh, Dragon's in.
Is going to be able to grab Hops. They're looking for more. Josie and them are fighting around inside the pit, but it's legendary as it's going to be randoms picking up the win inside that Baron. They secure it. Competition's looking to continue to chase on forward. Colin, you just got back to life. But competition's making sure you're not long for this world. One more zap, the burn will take them away. Competition is on a rampage.
That may have been the top layer of the cake, Travesty. Randoms, of course, making a big steal off of it. And shout outs to Randoms for being mad disciplined on making sure that Dragon Jindy is unable to get this steal. We watching this replay, and you look at Dragon Jindy, you look at Arendelle, you can take a look at all of them panicking the moment Arendelle gets jumped on. They're like, oh my god, what do we do? Where can we draw? Dragon Jindy's like, all right, F it, boys. I'm flashing the bit, see if I can go for the steal. But Randoms did a good job holding that Baron at 2.6k, and the moment they see Arendelle get caught off guard, they go for the optimal punish to make sure that that Baron does not get taken away, does not get stolen away. Good stuff on there, and that's where experience and working with a team comes a lot by. You know, making sure that teams are comfortable doing so. Oh, Katja. I don't know, bro.
Gotcha, man. He's gonna find himself
That's
getting
it.
taken down there. Mega Death Rocket doesn't connect, but the burn will be enough. Competition unstoppable here from the side of AOE randoms.
Yeah, not too sure at this point what Conviction can do. Travesty. Look at Arendelle, he's 2-5-2. Look at Colin, he's 0-7-6. These are the two players who have, you could argue, the most experience competitively, and they're not really stepping up in this game so far. They've been looking like a liability on the squad. Sure, of course, going to get jumped in, but I know that Conviction don't want any of this, as middle inhibitor is going to fall away. And randoms, they're getting all pieces of the pie that they want.
Yeah, this is... Oh, man. Conviction trying to see what they can do to fight it on out, but it's so many of their conditions have not come into play here, and the hot shot comes through. It shows vision, but I don't think Randoms is worried by the slightest. They're going to try and turn this on to Pockets. But Pockets is so incredibly tanky. Juzzy is looking to just one-shot him over on the bad side. Fakes
Look at that!
Josie says, I'll just take you by myself. Now it's Catcher trying to see if he'll be able to lay out the damage for his team. Josie will be able to survive. Short Hop finds one, finds himself another. The rest of the team is scattered. They are in ruins, in shambles. It is just Dragon left alive on the Udyr, but it's not going to be enough. AOE randoms, they're going to continue on to being 4-0.
Man, Convictions unfortunately falling away. Did have good things on their eyes, but random, the moment they get that gold lead, they just know what to do with it. The only issue that I see about them is that they just have a tough time getting that gold lead from themselves outside of punishing enemy mistakes. Regardless, though, they're looking pretty good. I'm not on the camera for some reason. I'm going to reset OBS real quick so that I'm looking pretty good for myself. But
we're missing the eye candy here, man. We got to get Will back in here, It's cool to just have me up on it. There we go.
There you go.
Everybody can rest easy now. We got Will back. But yeah. I'm with you, man. I think you look at I have nothing but agreements to go off of here with you, man. Randoms. Impressive as always. They're great at capitalizing mistakes. They're great in the mid to late game. What happens when they go against a team that doesn't let them do that?
Yeah.
And it is a concern.
That's one thing I'm waiting for, is a team that could actually pressure them and see what happens when they are on the back foot. Because in game one, they were slightly on the back foot, but then they still made the optimal punish at the right situation. So if I am AOE, what are things I can clear for myself, Right now, I got to see if you guys can actually engineer early game plays outside of level 1s, because they did 2 level 1s early on with those invades to just get vision and intel. But in this situation, the more I see these guys play, and of course I'm going to see these guys play, advancing all the way through the next Proving Grounds in summer, can you guys get a lead by yourselves, making plays whether in the jungle or whether as a duo? Because they definitely tried in game 1, it just didn't work out because it was too telegraphed. That's one thing that I want to be mindful of, but regardless, when you guys are ahead, I know that you guys can take it all the way down to the court. So I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, I think we see randoms and we're just like, yo, hold on. This is a team. They're going to spice things up in the mid game, right? You're never going to have a boring game with randoms on the field. They are always going to put out a show, but you might have to wait a little bit. You might have to wait until that mid game for them to start scrapping. As a group of 5, these are some phenomenal players. So, congratulations to them once again. Will, you got anything else you want to leave us off with here, man?
Shout out to the AOE Ram squad, man. You guys played a good game when it came to punishing Conviction. For Conviction, make sure you guys are playing your way. Make sure you guys are actually, being together as a unit. That's all I got to say.
It's absolutely phenomenal. They play phenomenal. We'll have to send it over to someone else that's phenomenal as well as they heard for us. We're sending it over to our desks. Take care, ladies.
And welcome back to this, everybody. Thank you very much, Travesty and Mr. Chilling Walk. Gentlemen, let's just talk about that game, which right off the bat, let's make one thing clear, that we're all so 5-headed, we knew it was going to happen. AOE 2-0. It's just so free, which, not to put a Conviction at all, you guys absolutely played your heart out, but definitely, DL, let's start off with you here, man. Your five-word crucifix to talk about what would happen, right? They should play that better. Did they play that better?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I think that the best way to put it is a meme popped into my head as you were thinking about that. They had us in the first clear. I won't lie, because that Udyr looked really, really terrifying. I thought Dragon Jindy was actually hard smurfing the jungle, and that was true throughout the entire game. This was another really good performance from the majority of Conviction, but it was these small times that their game plan fell apart, where their communication fell apart, and compounded with the fact that they weren't playing towards their Quinn yet again. So was it better? Yes. But was it better in the way that they actually played towards the composition? I gotta say no.
I agree. The thing is, too, in the early stages of the game is it's early. The early game is better for a couple of reasons. This time around, no one gets caught up in a level 1 play. This time around, Distel has more lane pressure, actually kept Chim shoved in most of the time. And that's why we got to see Dragon Jindy kind of run the map 3-quadrant Josie in the early stages of the game. This is a really good start. But like you said, Dia, they don't start playing to Distel. They just seem to start playing away from him to other ends of the map. They did a good job once again of trying to isolate Short Hop, take him out of these engagements, but it just was just as hard as the last time, because when Distel doesn't get the lead that you really want, yeah, early game there was a bit of a CS lead, a bit of XP lead, which is nice, but I'm talking like leads, snowball, biggest snowball ever, one that would make Nunu and Willem proud kind of lead that we need to see. So if that doesn't happen, Distel, and as we saw in these team fights, can't actually do a whole lot. It's like you said, I'm going to paraphrase a little tiny bit. When Quinn is not ahead, she just ends up being a not so great assassin. And yeah.
It turns into this situation where you've got yourself what is essentially a 4.5 v5 later on in the game, because there's a big Renekton in your front line. Renekton
That's right.
He's had such a good season with the changes to itemization that keep him so relevant that it's a good investment now.
Yeah, but with that, although we don't want to bring up the Renekton just yet, we do have our MVP of the night.
God, yes.
Oh my God, yes.
How did we not talk about that?
Exactly, I was gonna say, which I mean, I don't know y'all managed it, but my main man Pockets that came out big, bro. One might even say huge, massive, gigantic, some game saving and game breaking plays and engages coming out of him beatdown.
And literally because both games on the Alistar and then in game 2 on the Gragas, honestly, Smurf lane played extremely well, made these early situations that aren't ideal for Short Hop on a Jinx ideal. They end up having a really good laning phase in game 1, really good engages from Pockets to the point where he died, once or twice? Like, to be fair, he was playing Alistar. But the point is, he had a lot of impact on these team fights. He had a lot of play making in these team fights. And in game 2, it's the same thing, because Gragas's body slam is an uninterruptible animation. Every time Lin tries to go in with that Ferromancy, he wasn't allowed. I think once or twice he actually managed to get it off, and more often than not, he's forced to flash to actually get use out of that Magnastorm ultimate. It's just these little plays. On top of that, going into the mid lane so very often, making Ariandel's game quite literally unplayable, are why we come to this decision.
Yeah, I wanna talk about a little bit his roaming, because you both know that I'm taking notes during the game, and 7 minutes in, Dragon finally gets picked up. Josie overextends, gets picked himself, but AOE still win the fight because, well, everything else is happening. Well, Short Hop is split pushing. Pockets is roaming completely independently of him and getting numbers advantages for AoE around neutral objectives. Neutral objectives, by the way, that we mentioned all the way at the start of the series as being something that AoE really do focus on. They weren't picked apart at all, and again, it wasn't through these strong lanes. Pockets a big part of why they're able to get priority, and I see it very clearly now, because in game 2, his gameplay was just so high level.
And I think the only thing ultimately that AoE do end up losing is the fact that they did not get the first turret down in game 1, but realistically, it didn't amount to a whole lot, because they got a lot of other turrets in the meantime. Because realistically, they did end up playing around the neutral objectives really well, like you said, Dia. And when it came to team fighting, well, Renekton stun is a lot nicer than Quinn Vault.
Yeah. I do want to say that I think Conviction are very close to something good, because we did see Quinn using her lane priority, and Ariandel even using Oriana's lane priority to get this Udyr lead. If you can play a comp that actually has your jungler as a win condition, I think Conviction might have won this.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, actually. If we saw something like a Rumble, like Kindred, for example, Graves,
Mhm.
something anything like those where you end up drafting 4 Dragon Jindy and lanes that can give him prio, this could have been a different game.
Much different, but at the end of the day, like you mentioned, gentlemen, they got the most important turn, that being the Nexus. So, which really, at the end of the day, that's what matters, and that's what we all fight
True.
for right here on Summoner's Rift. Now, with that all being said, we do want to give a big thank you all for watching. Mr. Dia, thank you for coming on, being here with us today. It was an honor and a pleasure, and I know I had a blast, and I hope so did you, Beat Down Boulevard. Thank you for being by my side, as always, my brother. I appreciate you.
I
How
got
do you guys do that?
Appreciate you,
Practice.
man.
There was a lot of
Oh.
times where I'd look this way, and it's like, wait,
Yeah.
that's not right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the process of elimination. It's a 50-50 gamble that he's lost
Sure.
many times.
Exactly.
Beatdown should never go to the slots because I don't know
No.
if you win. But
Actually,
just
I
a
win a lot
different-
of money in slots, but that's not important.
I
Wow.
don't believe you. But that's a different conversation for a different time. Of course, big shout out to Akash for showing what can travesty. And our production is always Mr. Hypertension, making us look good. Now, with that all being said, we'll be back tomorrow with more games, the Upsurge Premier League. But until then, we'll catch y'all in a little bit. Peace.